We provide every single thing that you need to be successful in real estate, except the effort. The effort has to come from you. We have everything except for your work ethic. It's up to you to come on board and take what we have and then to go as far as you want to go. Hello. Dawn again, Damon Gettier Associates, Realtors-Brokered by Real. It was yesterday. I recorded the video yesterday for the steps that it takes to get your real estate license. But I did mention that I would do a video on why you should or why you would choose DGA as your brokerage of choice. So DGA being Damon Gettier Associates. Oh, so many reasons. I have a list up here. I don't do very well like reading down a list and doing a video. I do much better when I can just talk my way through it, but there's so much information and I don't want to leave stuff out. Kind of like talking points. Also, this video is not an hour long, so I can, keep your attention and make it interesting for you. A little bit about me, just to kind of start off. I've been with Damon Gettier Associates since 2016. So at the point of this video, we're talking about 8 years. It is the best brokerage, but it's the best brokerage for me, and maybe it's the best brokerage for you, maybe it's not. We'll figure that part out. I wouldn't be as silly as to say that, everybody should be here. It's a good brokerage. I find that I like the standards. I like the way that we do business. I believe in like the morals of the company and that kind of stuff. So it works for me. Maybe it'll work for you. I got my license in 2016. Back then it was a 60-hour course. So I took evening courses. I had a full-time job at the time. My job that I had prior to real estate moved me to Roanoke. I have been commission-only sales, gosh, at this point I think close to 25 years. Just a different product. I've been here 8 of those 25. So anyway, I lived in Northern Virginia. I worked in Northern Virginia and DC. That job transferred me to Roanoke, and I loved the job up there. I wasn't really a fan of it down here. I didn't really like the job down here. I loved the people, not the job. I went from like interacting with people and stuff like that to more like reports and things. It just wasn't for me. So anyway, I had always thought about getting my real estate license, and it was kind of like one of those now or never type of deals. I'm happy to be getting older because the alternative is, not fun. However, I wasn't getting any younger, and I was like, I'm not going to work at a job that I'm really not liking. So anyway, I got my real estate license, and when that company moved me to Roanoke, we knew no one in this area. You're going to hear a lot about your sphere, your SOI, which is your sphere of influence and stuff like that, and selling houses to your sphere. And if you have enough friends and family that can keep you busy in your real estate career, kudos to you. That will work well in your favor. When I moved to Roanoke, job sent me down here. The only people that we knew in the valley were the husband and the kids that I brought with me, 3 kids, and none of them were buying houses. So I knew that when I got my license, I needed to find a place that would give me just a few leads, to give me just a little bit. And I've been doing what I've been doing long enough. I should be able to build on that. I had no idea what I was stepping into. I'm happy that I did, and obviously it works for me. I'm still here. When I was shopping around, and I almost feel bad when I'm talking to like upcoming agents or new agents and asking them if they have any questions, because I know that there are a ton of questions, but I also know that when you're brand new, you might not even know like what questions you should be asking, because you don't know, you don't know what you don't know. So how do you prepare for it? How do you ask the right questions? So I wrote some down that were important to me back then. They're important to me now. Some things that we typically go over when I'm interviewing someone, just stuff that you should be aware of to ask. And obviously there's more. There's going to be stuff that's important to some that's not to others. But anyway, and then also as I'm going through, I don't want the video to be an hour long, so I might touch on a little bit of stuff and kind of glaze over. If there's anything that you would like to dive deeper into, if you want more information on that, if you want to know more about it, just schedule a Zoom with me and we'll go over it. When it comes to real estate and selling houses and, your work-life balance and your goals, your finances, all of that kind of stuff, anything that's career related, anything that I can help with, I'm completely transparent about. So we have a completely different business structure than anything else that you're going to find in the Roanoke Valley or surrounding areas. Our main footprint for here, our office is in Salem. We have agents in Roanoke, Salem area, New River Valley, Southwest Virginia, Lynchburg, Martinsville, and I always call it Rockingham, Rockbridge. That's our main footprint for this area. However, we are brokered by Real, so you'll actually hear me say Damon Gettier Associates brokered by Real, which is kind of like the best way to describe that is like a umbrella or a parent company, and they are nationwide. So we have an organization, I think right now it's like 350 agents nationwide, and then we focus here. So what that means too is if you're watching this video and you're thinking, well, I'm not close to Salem or Roanoke or any of the areas we mentioned, mentioned, you could still be part of our team. You can still take advantage of everything that we're offering here. And then we'll also partner you with someone that's local so that you get that, side-by-side help that you need, but then still the structure of our team. So different than any other business model that you're going to find in the area. However, that business model definitely works because our team has sold more houses than any other team in the Valley for the last 11 years in a row. Again, what we're doing works. No pressure for me for year 12 and 13 and so on. Okay, so some of the questions that you want to ask. When you're shopping for your brokerage, do they provide leads? If they do, how many leads do they provide? Is that guaranteed? When they divvy those leads out, how are they divvied out? Are they divvied out by seniority, or what does that look like? Because if it's seniority, the new gal tends to suffer a little bit. But how do they do that? And if they do provide leads, is there a guaranteed amount? How many do they get? Because there are some places that say that they provide leads. That's great. But there are some that do provide leads. I'm not aware of anyone in the Valley or even close to us that provides the volume of leads that we do. So if they do, sometimes it's just people who happen to call the office and say, I saw you had a house for sale. Like, that is a lead, but is that what they're talking about? What kind of volume are we talking about? What is the monthly spend for the leads that are purchased? And then how are they divvied out? And does that cost you anything? Do you pay for those leads as well? What kind of training is provided? I love this one because our training program is phenomenal. But does the company provide training? So like when you get your real estate license and you show up day one, is there a structure in place to show you what to do, or how do you learn? Is it through the company or is it through your association? Because all of the associations do a little bit of training that you can plug into as well. So is that what they're talking about, or do they provide training? And if they do you pay for that training? How's that paid for? How's it planned? How's it structured? Is it on a calendar? Is it on a regular basis? Is it getting enough agents and then doing a class just because you have enough agents at that time? Or what does that look like for you? Because two of the biggest things actually when you get your license is, who do you plan on selling houses to, and how do you plan on learning? Those are ongoing and they're big things. Is your broker a competing broker? Is the broker for the company still in production? Are they selling houses? And then if they are selling houses, when those leads come in, do they go to the broker first and then get divvied out down the line if the broker doesn't want them, which is fair. They're typically the ones that are paying for it, but a lot of times that's how that works. How many sales a year do their new agents average, and how long do their new agents normally stay? Okay. And that's kind of it's a question that you can ask, but know that the results are different per agent, but there should be some kind of average they have. Like if they bring on 5 different realtors, what does the income look for? Are those realtors still there? What does the income look like? How many sales are they selling? Who do you contact for questions after hours and weekends? So we'll teach you work-life balance. However, new agents typically have a lot going on in the evenings and the weekends because, well, when you're new, what else do you do? But a lot of stuff, like people get off work, they want to see houses and stuff like that. So what kind of contact do you have? What happens if you have someone that has a question that's contract related? So let's say they want to go and see a house, but they've got a question. Who do you reach out to? What kind of plan is in place if nobody answers you? Okay? Because it's really important and it's very frustrating. And I will tell you that's one of my pet peeves. When I need information, I need it now and I don't want to wait, because typically if I need information, that means that there's a consumer that's waiting on me. There's a new agent that's waiting on me to get that information, and I can't stand waiting on somebody. We have a plan in place for that, and I'll go down these questions again and answer them with how we do things when I get done. But what is the plan? Like, how do you get help when you need help after hours and weekends? Again, for new people, it just doesn't happen very much during the day, kind of just the way that works. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but there's a lot that happens in evenings and weekends. And then if there is someone in place for that, do you pay for that help? How do you compensate that person? If you have to write an offer, let's say you're brand new and you get help writing an offer, I hope it gets accepted, but sometimes it doesn't get accepted. So do you pay for that agent for their time in helping you write the offer, but now you're paying out of pocket and there's no sale to go with it? What does that look like? How does that work? Okay. Can you shadow other agents? And how do those agents feel about being shadowed? It's unfortunate, but I interview a lot of existing agents or new agents that went someplace else and it wasn't working, and they'll come on board here. And one of the things that I hear that I love is how they were welcomed by the team, right? Because our team it's good. We'll get there. But I have also interviewed a lot of people, and they say that they show up and the agents that are there aren't quite so welcoming because they look at them as as competition. Well, here comes another new agent. They're going to suck up our time, and they're going to do this, and they're going to take leads, or, if there are leads, that kind of thing. I do hear some of that negativity. So are you able to shadow agents to learn? And then how do those agents typically respond to being shadowed? Is it something that they are required to do? So you're required to be able to ride with them, or is it something that they're willing and they want to do? It makes a little bit of a difference. What happens to your clients if you go out of town for vacation, if you get sick, or heaven forbid you have an emergency? Is there a plan in place to get your clients taken care of, or is everything on hold because it is specifically up to you? They're your clients and you have to handle those. And then if there is help, if there is a plan, how are those agents compensated? And is that client still yours? For example, if you go out of town for a week and you have an agent that shows them a house and they decide to buy and move forward with that agent, do you get compensated? Do you split that? What does that look like in terms of if it's still your client, if you get paid commission? Because maybe you've been showing them houses for months. You go out of town and they find the one, that kind of stuff happens. How does the agency, how does the brokerage teach you and plan for work-life balance? What is their policy on work-life balance? And then how is their team culture? What do they do as a team? Anything that you have, any questions, let me know. If you're thinking about registering for the classes, if you're considering coming on board, certainly let me know. Next steps would be let's do a 15-minute Zoom, and we'll talk about any questions you have. We'll put together a plan. If you need help with the schools, we'll help you choose a school if we can, any of that kind of stuff. But hopefully I'll be able to chat with you soon, and then if not, good luck anyway. All right, thanks. Have a good day. Bye.